Coming up on this episode of Heal Squad, let's get real here. It's exciting when it pops on the mirror.
When it's yours or when you're watching somebody. See, there's a difference. Some people love to watch it. Some people
Yeah.
don't love to watch it, but they will do it to themselves. I happen to have a patient who had some blackheads, and I just thought, why don't you, would you be okay with me videotaping this and posting it anonymously? And they let me do that. And when I did that, I saw that people were fascinated with it. They were either fascinated actually, or they were disgusted by it. But either way, they would show their friends. They were like, you got to look at this. This is crazy. And that's really how it grew.
Hello, hello, Heal Squad. This is gonna be a spooktacular episode. All right, since Halloween is coming up, I thought we could have a little bit of fun chatting about something that always haunts us: pimples. Yep, there is nothing scarier than a zit that pops up right before an event, but have no fear, because the world's most famous dermatologist, Dr. Sandra Lee, aka Dr. Pimple Popper, is here today, and we are turning this episode into our very own dermatology appointment. And she's breaking down what really causes acne, when to pop, when not, how to finally treat those breakouts that just won't die, and all of our tips and tricks in between. She even called me a potential really good dermatologist, so I'm sharing all my tips as well. But first, our quote of the day: enthusiasm just creates bubbles. It doesn't keep them from popping. And that's from Adora Svitek. Friends, let's get to popping. Oh, well, it's so nice to have you here on the Heal Squad. I feel like I have obviously been aware of you for so long. I've done
Sorry about
stories
that.
on the
Yeah.
show. It is very hard for me to watch, but it's like you can't turn away either.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? I don't know, it's this phenomenon that I didn't even know existed, really. And then I sort of slipped into this, and then it became something so much bigger.
So
And it
share
really
with
became,
everybody where it kind of all started, because I think that story is
yeah.
so fascinating.
Yeah, it happened about, well, about 10 years ago. I just started to post on Instagram, really, and just try to show a little window into my world. And there were really no doctors doing that. I mean, it was all like maybe some makeup videos, some early makeup videos, some travel videos, some food videos, things like that, fashion. And I just started to post a little bit about my world and what I love about dermatology, my patients, and how beautiful a wart may look or something like that, because they do look pretty. I mean, I know that sounds weird to everybody, but just the images like that. And so I happened to have a patient who had some blackheads, and I just thought, would you be okay with me videotaping this and posting it anonymously? And they let me do that. And when I did that, I saw that people were fascinated with it. They were either fascinated actually, or they were disgusted by it. So you might be more in the latter category, but either way, they would show their friends. They were like, you got to look at this. This is crazy. And that's really how it grew. So it
Well, but
became something
also,
so much
didn't
beyond.
you, when I was reading the research, I saw that it said that you had kind of seen these online forums that were all
Yes.
about popping pimples, and it kind of gave you this idea, because this was your profession before, right? This is what you
Yes,
were
this is my
doing.
profession. Yeah.
Yeah,
This
it
is my
wasn't
pro
something you created and started doing.
Right. Well, it wasn't that I saw people were doing it. I started to do it. And then I saw people were commenting on it. I don't think people were putting it on Instagram, but then I decided to put it on YouTube. And when I went to YouTube and I started to put the hashtags in, like blackheads, other videos popped up. And I was
Mhm.
like, what is going on here? Like, why are people posting this? And then people in my comments would say, you have to check out the subreddit popping. So I went to Reddit, and there was like a whole community of people that were sharing popping videos, but just videos of themselves in their kitchen or their bathroom, or in the garage, really, or just a friend or some video that they found on the internet. And I just thought that was crazy. but also I thought, oh my gosh, I could be their person. I could start posting here,
I
because I
could be
have
their
the
person.
content. Yes. And so that's how I started to post more and really realize that this was a thing. I mean, this was a community that wasn't secret, but was just all enjoyed this content. And I think it's like 30,000 or 40,000 people. It was a good number of people. And it was just really shocking to me, but also kind of exciting. Like, let me see what I can do with this.
Well, I feel like we all love popping our pimples. Like I got even recently after a facial at Dermalogica,
Uh,
I think the guy was using this tool when he was doing it. And
yeah,
I was like, wait, that's not his fingers because he's going really like all over. So I went online, I found that tool that the little metal tool with the hole and you
right.
push it on there.
Comedone extractor. Uh-huh.
A Komino extractor. I'm
Yes.
obsessed with my Komino extractor.
Yes.
And so I
But
really do
do
enjoy
good
it.
with it, not evil. That's the careful thing. You just got
Okay,
to
well, we're
not
gonna
get
get
too
into that.
obsessed with it.
I
Yes.
want to know the do good versus evil, but also like, and listen, let's get real here. It's exciting when it pops on the mirror.
When it's yours or when you're watching somebody. See, there's a difference. Some people love to watch it. Some people
Yeah.
don't love to watch it, but they will do it to themselves, or some people don't want anything to do with it.
Well,
So
you
it's just
know,
very
because
interesting.
you've met everybody at this point. So, like, I will watch the commercials for like these massive cysts you're going at.
Yeah.
And I'm like kind of looking, but like wanting to vomit at the
Yeah.
same time. So
Uh-huh.
it's a very interesting thing, but like I am all about popping mine. I know other people love to pop other people's. I can't do that. I'm not into
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
But
Yes, you're a soft popper, we call you, because instead of a hard popper, you like the little ones that come out simply. You don't need any anesthesia. There's no blood, there's no sharp objects, it's just very simple. And it's very satisfying. That's really the basic. That's like what I know this sounds sick. It's like entry level pimple popping.
oh
It's
my
just like
gosh.
very basic, but really I see the allure. It's interesting because one time early on, I was editing one of my videos and I found myself watching the same clip over and over. And that's when I realized that, oh, this is what people like about it. There's a satisfaction. There's a satisfaction to it, sort of like a taking something away that's not supposed to be there,
Mm.
putting things back where they should be, or just getting rid of the negativity. There's like a sort of a bigger meaning to this for people. And it just, people watch these videos to relax before they go to sleep. It's their bedtime story. Many people
What?
compile them in like in a file called bedtime stories. Yes.
I don't believe you. That's insane. But you know what?
Yes.
Everyone's got their thing.
Yeah.
But I watched, Ben Affleck and The Accountant 2 last night to go to sleep. Um, but I wonder, like, let's get kind of into the whole kind of genesis of acne. And obviously there's
Mhm.
teen acne and then there's adult acne. I know right now it was funny. My producer Patty, before we got on the show, she's like, I know you don't deal with this. I'm like, no. I had a bout years ago. I know how to heal acne. And then now, just recently, this year, I have had a lot of stress and I just am seeing it on my face. I'm seeing the
Yeah.
puffiness from the cortisol. I'm seeing the whiteheads. It's like whack-a-mole. And I'm like, what the heck? This is a nightmare. So,
Yeah, I mean, acne in general is hormonally based. And this is why you get it when you're in your teenage years, because that's when our hormones are really out of whack. There's a lot of surges in hormones because of puberty. And this is why teenagers get acne during that time. But even in adults, men can get acne too as adults, but more often women, and more often women during those parts of our cycle when we have surges in our hormones. And so it essentially, that is one of the main causes of acne, really. And so also pregnancy can sometimes make acne better, but sometimes it can make it much worse. So pregnancy can play a role really, and that surge or that change in hormones can really play a role in your acne breakouts. So one of the things, actually for me, sometimes I feel like sometimes I will get a pimple, but not nearly as much as I did even 10 years ago because of menopause, because of like, losing your hormones a little bit. So sometimes when I get a pimple now, it's more like, oh yeah, I still have my hormones. I still have something going on here because I'm getting a little bit of a breakout.
Well,
So
I'm glad you
that's a
said
weird
that
thing.
because maybe I'm attributing this to stress and maybe it's like a perimenopause thing.
It can be. I mean, but also, stress definitely, stress is not the root cause, but stress can worsen a lot of skin breakouts, a lot of skin things, eczema, psoriasis, and acne. So it can really kind of make things a little bit worse. And I think stress on our body and just stress in our mind can make things worse.
So is it also tied to diet?
Um, yes, but it's a little bit complicated. I think, in my view, that the foods that cause acne more have to do with hormones too. Like I think the milk that we drink when we're young, there's a lot of hormones in them, or even some of the meats that we eat, right? There can be hormones in them, and we're noticing that kids are maybe going through puberty at a younger age, and we're maybe attributing that to the hormones that may be in the food. And so
Yeah.
similarly, I think that that can kind of alter our skin and continue to increase the propensity for acne.
It's so funny. I was just telling my brother because he was like, what kind of milk is Athena drinking? My daughter. I'm like, goat milk because I don't want her growing boobs at 8 years old.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I think it has to do with that pasteurized milk, and also we try to. It's better to drink skim milk. It tends to have less hormones. So we tell people things like that. So it,
Good
it,
to know.
it yeah, I mean, sometimes people will say, well, tomatoes really make me break out, for example. I mean, I will just tell them, like, if you feel that strongly about that, don't try to avoid tomatoes as much as you can. But do I know if there's really a direct cause? I can't really say.
Yeah. So what's the difference in like the acne profile from whitehead to blackhead to cysts? Like
Yes.
sometimes I realized a couple years ago if I'm using old makeup and I never even was aware of the fact that makeup could be old or skin products could be old, I would get this like huge cyst
Mm,
right on my cheek. And now I get it.
yeah. And it would recur in the same place too, or
Um,
move in a different area.
generally it
Non-ex.
would be in those
Okay.
places. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I think, well, first, I kind of categorize it into three, really. The most basic or the building blocks of acne are the blackheads and the whiteheads, also known as open and closed comedones. And they're clogged pores. We have pores all over in our skin, and there is actually a hair follicle associated with each of them and a sebaceous gland, which is the oil gland. The hair follicle doesn't necessarily grow hair. So this area can get clogged, and when it gets clogged with dirt and debris and oil, and acne is really associated oftentimes with oily skin, and we get more oily skin when we're youngsters or certain times of the month, even because of our hormones. That can clog those pores. And so, what happens is bacteria loves to live in those pores. That is like their perfect little home environment. They've got food there, they've got dirt and debris and oil, and they're just really, and it's just nice and warm and toasty in your little pores. And so that's where they grow. And that's when a pimple can form, when the bacteria kind of gets a little out of control. That's like the second stage of acne, when you get a pimple or a pustule, we call that. And that's like a red bump, right? That you can feel coming to the surface. Now, a more severe form of pimple is going to be the cysts and the nodules because they're deeper under the skin. You really can't get to it and try to squeeze it out or extract it. The best way to potentially treat a pimple, especially if a big one before a big event, is to inject it with a little low potency corticosteroid because that will help to calm it down probably within 24 hours.
Mhm.
But those are difficult to get rid of. And the one thing that I think is really important about acne is, it's not going to threaten your life directly. Certainly, it doesn't threaten any of our lives, but it definitely threatens your sense of well-being and your feelings of, you're feeling good about yourself.
Mhm.
And the that is can be quite devastating to teenagers when they're just trying to figure out their place in the world, certainly. So that's why I think it's very important to treat. And the other reason it's important to treat is because if you do have severe acne, cysts and nodules, that has a that has a tendency to scar, and that scarring can be permanent. And I can't tell you how many people I see in my office who it's sort of like somebody who loses a lot of weight and they look in the mirror and they still see the bigger person. You know, I think a person who has had bad acne and they have scars, they look in the mirror and they see that acne. You know, that's what they focus on. And so many people, so many parents that bring in their kids that have a single small pimple, and their parents have, you can see that they have acne scars, and you can see that they don't want their kids to go through the same thing that they have, because
Yeah.
it's very difficult to get rid of acne scars. It's not so simple. There's not just like a single device that can improve it or make it go away for
And
everybody.
even like the dented scarring that people get, is there any solution for that now? Like, does filler fill that in now that we have filler?
There's different things that you can do, and it depends on the type of scar you have. That's another discussion. There's different types of scars that you can get in acne, and they can respond to treatments in different ways. But there's not a single treatment that's good for everybody. That is a one-time treatment that is inexpensive, that is easy to do. This can be a lifelong battle for people who really want to get rid of their acne scars. And it's complicated. I mean, it also depends on your skin type. If you're light complected, you can be more aggressive with some of these treatment options. If you're darker, you really can't, because you worry about, um, uh,
Discoloration.
yes, even darkening, but more importantly, hypopigmentation or depigmentation, meaning you have loss of color because you can't get that color back. And then you'll have this more noticeable, thing on your face here, this difference in color. So it's complicated. So the best advice I have is, if you have cystic or, deeper set acne, really seek out a dermatologist. It's important to get that taken care of. A lot of kids will, have to sort of fight with their parents to come in. Their parents like busy, or it's expensive, or it's just acne. It's not gonna You're gonna outgrow it. But the trouble is if you get that scarring, it can be quite devastating.
Yeah. So what can you do to avoid the scarring?
You can try to get treatment. You want to do things that are going to head it off before it gets to that point. If somebody comes in with pretty mild acne, and they're, late in their teens, if they are not really anxious, if they're not anxious about it's going to pass. It's not going to leave them with, anything to remind them of this. But if you have severe acne, it's going to potentially change your life in many ways.
So I know when I had a bout with acne, this was like in my early 20s. I think I had just gotten off the pill for a
Hmm.
time period, and that just kind of raged the hormones.
Hmm.
But I remember them wanting to put me on Accutane,
Hmm.
and my husband was like, no way, because he had heard that there was a lot of like suicide connected maybe to it. There was apparently all kinds of things that were connected. Okay. I'm sure it works for some people and it's
Hmm.
fine, but he was very scared. And so I remember piecing some advice together from different people. There was a receptionist at a doctor's office that was like, buy a big package of little face cloths, one and done. You wash, you throw it away after. And I said, oh, she's like, because the bacteria builds up on the towels. So I've
Hmm.
created my little formula. I'm going to run it by you.
Okay.
So, to me, if I, as the faux doctor to a friend, have a patient with some acne, and I don't mean severe acne, but like, breakouts. So, if it's pretty good size, like there's a decent amount, then I say talk to the doctor about getting on some doxycycline for a month to kind of help stack the deck. And then Dermalogica has been my favorite go-to clean, simple brand of skincare. I used my Dermalogica. I did a month of doxycycline. I bought the towels, one and done. I'd wash and dry my face, put it in the laundry basket, and I think that was it, but I have it all in my book. But I think that was kind of the basics. What do you think of all of that?
I think honestly, whatever works for you and makes you, because I feel that it's very important to have control over your skin. That loss of control is a very big deal. And I think that that's great what you were doing. I think sticking with a regimen is great. You're very aware of your skin. You're making sure that it's clean and you're making sure
Hmm.
it's being taken care of. This is why I have a skincare line, SLMD skincare. And that was really what came from one of the things that came from all of this pimple popping stuff. People were asking me questions about how to take care of the skin, and I really just wanted something very simple, very easy, that was over the counter, that were products that we dermatologists prescribe to our patients
Oh,
or
wow.
advise them to have.
Where
And
do you
and
buy
it
it?
you can get it on slmdskincare.com, and you can get it at Sprouts, but we'll send you some actually.
Okay,
Because I
cool.
know you have a young daughter, but she's not there yet, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Or
But what
hopefully
is
she doesn't
like
get
the
there.
magic ingredient that is it
Well,
the salicylic
it's
acid? Like what
yeah,
is it
it's
that's
not
helpful?
magic. It's not magic. It's really part of it is really teaching these young people, these people to stick with a regimen, to be aware of their skin and take care of their skin. Sometimes they just need that, and that basic understanding that there's a little bit of responsibility that you
Hmm.
have taking care of your skin. There's a cleanser, that there's a cleanser. There is a retinol in it. Retinol, obviously, everybody has heard of tretinoin or Retin-A these days. It is a great acne treatment, but it is also a great anti-ager. So it kind of plays a little bit of double there. And then we
What
have
does
benzoyl
it do
peroxide.
exactly?
What retinol does, or Retin-A, so Retin-A, is also called tretinoin, and it's 20 times more potent than retinol, but retinol is over the counter. Retin-A actually increases the efficiency of our skin cell turnover, when our skin is so that, it's going to do it the most efficiently that it can. And so that's going to help to improve even brown spots and things like that, but also help to make sure that our pores are nice and clean. So that is what we've used for generations, really. And it continues to be one of the mainstays of acne, and even one of the mainstays of early, like, trying to do anti-aging kind of prevention or treatment, so to speak. So that's what Retin-A does. We also use benzoyl peroxide. Benzoyl peroxide has also been around for a long time, and it is actually an antimicrobial. So it helps to destroy or kill some of that bacteria that's living on our skin. And that's what doxycycline, the pill that you're taking, is trying to do too, but doing it systemically, from the
Hmm.
inside out, just treating your whole skin in general, or just decreasing the bacteria count in general. And also, there is salicylic acid. I'm sorry, that's what I meant to say with my cleanser. I love my salicylic acid cleanser. Salicylic acid is a chemical peel acid. It's called the beta hydroxy acid. There's two main kinds, alpha and beta. And this salicylic acid is like the best chemical peel acid for acne, because it actually is settles the size of the crystals, and salicylic acid are small enough to get into your pores, and they sort of clean out the pores really well.
Oh,
And
wow.
and
I didn't know
it's very
that.
gentle on your skin. It's great for all skin types. It's not going to, be really drying or very caustic or abrasive to your skin. And it can
Is
help
that
to
why it
lighten
kind
brown
of
spots
tingles a
too.
little?
It depends. That probably could be from the strength, really. I mean, it depends. There's different chemical peel acids. I mean, glycolic acid can peel a little. TCA can peel a little bit. But if that peeling means itchiness, be careful with that, because that can mean, maybe, are you having a reaction to it?
Mm.
Are you sensitive to it? So anytime that I sort of tingle, I'm always like pausing a little bit and trying to assess, is that actually a good tingle from the product that's actually helping me, or does it make me start to feel itchy or irritated? Because I'm pretty sensitive, and I actually
Yeah.
don't love to get facials. I don't really trust all the products that are out there. I feel like I'm going to react to something. So,
But that's
and
why
that's
I'll tell
happened.
you, so when I was on this journey, I went to like all the, oh, go to this person's, go to that
Yeah,
person's in
yeah.
LA. They charged me so many thousands of dollars. And when you're desperate and you will pay what you have to pay. I did it all. And then one woman in the office pulled me aside and she goes, run. He's just taking your money. Get
Yeah.
out. And I was like,
Yeah,
God
and that's
bless you.
sad.
Thank you. But I went, my assistant at the time was like, Maria, just try Dermalogica. And I went and did their facial. I promise you, you will love it. It is the
Yeah.
only facial I've ever had that did not make my skin react. Everywhere else would take months for my skin to recover. I'm not a spokesperson for it at all. It sounds like a commercial now, but it's just because I believe in it and I've used it.
Yeah.
But their facials are unbelievable. They're inexpensive and they're
Yeah.
super
And
simple
that's
and they
great.
do the job. So you will love them. You should try it.
Yeah, yeah, you don't need things that are really expensive. And that is also a big thing, you should know about it. You know, there's a reason that this whole business is like $1 trillion business. We're all kind of seeking answers, and there's going to be people that are going to sort of take advantage of that. And I think sometimes people get bored with the basics. They're like, there's got to be something new out there. But I'm
Yeah.
telling you, a lot of these basic, simple medications, they're still around for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
Because they do something. You should think about that. There's a lot of things that are new that are out. I've seen it so many times. New lasers, new devices that come and go. You
Yeah.
know, exosomes are a big deal right now. PDR let's see if they're there again in 5 years. Just
Do
wait
you
and
believe in
see.
any of that?
Uh, it's complicated. I think that I really like the idea that we're trying to innovate and trying to find things, and some of them are going to hit, but not all of them are going to.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's very difficult to. I like to call myself a late adopter, and I'm proud to be a late adopter because I'm not in there trying to do because those as somebody who provides these services, I'm not trying to spend hundreds of $1,000s on these products or these devices that I have to sell to my patients to
Mm-hmm.
recoup that money, really. Like if you pay $500,000 for a device, you're down $500,000. And that
Yeah,
may or may not work. And then also have them feel like you sold me something that did not work without knowing, that without having the proof of time and seeing whether there's a difference in this.
I
So
get it.
I'm really somebody who's not going to really jump on those things right away. What do
I
I think
also,
that has, go ahead.
oh no, go ahead. Go ahead, finish.
I was just say, what do I think has potential now? I mean, I'm intrigued by exosomes, but I think that it's a little bit unregulated at this time. And so it's a little worrisome that maybe, bad things can happen. But if it's a topical that you're putting on your skin, I'm not quite as, concerned about that. But do I think that it's really effective? I think they're working on it and hopefully they'll find something, but I don't think we're quite there yet.
Yeah.
I think that things that are injected right under your skin, like the salmon sperm DNA and things like that, just, I don't really love people injecting things under their skin if they
Did
don't
you just
really
say
know what it
something
is.
with sperm?
Yeah, that was a trend, a little bit farther away. I don't think it's as much of a trend anymore, but they were injecting salmon sperm into under their skin. Yes.
Salmon sperm. Okay, so we
Yeah,
went
and
from
it's just
placenta
worrisome.
facials to
Yes,
salmon
yes,
sperm.
yes.
Do you like
Yes.
the
Well,
placenta
facials are
facials, by the
better.
way?
I mean, things that are less invasive, um, at least I feel like the least they can do is not really do what they're saying they'll do, and maybe they'll give you a little rash or a little or allergic reaction. But something that you're injecting under your skin, I'm much more concerned about that because if that's something you can't get rid of, that can be a big deal.
I'm dead. I don't know about
Oh,
salmon.
it can be the Wild West, really, when you think
Wow.
about it. And so that's why I really try to stay away from the things that just come out until you really see that it's proven with time.
All right, Heal Squad, we are gonna pause right here, but Dr. Pimple Popper will be back tomorrow and we are gonna go beyond the breakouts. We're gonna talk about Accutane, if it's still safe, if you should squeeze blackheads, and even cysts that are so big. Ooh, you might gag on this episode, but you'll want to hear it, trust me. That is tomorrow. In the meantime, friends, be nice people, make good choices, and be present. Hey, Heal Squad. We have been on quite the journey together, and we're hearing from so many of you just how much this show is helping you heal and get better, and it makes us feel so good. We love, love, love it, and we just ask that you don't keep it to yourself. Spread the message and share the show or your favorite episode with your friends. And if you want to help us even more, you can leave us a 5-star rating and a comment on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, and follow us on Instagram at Heal Squad. You can also DM us anytime because we love connecting with you. And finally, you can also join us on Patreon for our monthly live heal events with world-class healers and ad-free episodes exclusive only to Patreon and our Super Heal Squad for as little as $10 a month. So go to patreon.com/Heal Squad to join. Getting better isn't easy, friends, but as I say all the time, it's a whole lot easier if we can do it together. We love you all so much, and we love doing this thing called life with you.
This podcast and all related content published or distributed by or on behalf of Maria Menounos or MariaMenounos.com is for informational purposes only and may include information that is general in nature and that is not specific to you. Any information or opinions expressed or contained herein are not intended to serve as or replace medical advice, nor to diagnose, prescribe, or treat any disease, condition, illness, or injury, and you should consult the healthcare professional of your choice regarding all matters concerning your health, including before beginning any exercise, weight loss, or healthcare program. If you have or suspect you may have a healthcare emergency, please contact a qualified healthcare professional for treatment. Any information or opinions provided by a guest expert or host featured within website or on company's podcast are their own, not those of Maria Menounos or the company. Accordingly, Maria Menounos and the company cannot be responsible for any results or consequences or actions you may take based on information or opinions.